All right, we're live. So it's Decoder install day today. Almost forgot to mute the YouTube. Look at that. So as you can see, we have an SD90 Mac Kato unit. And we're going to be putting some TCS WOW sound into it. So here's the decoder that we're going to use. It's the complete kit, motherboard, 21-pin speaker, and of course it's got to keep alive in it as well. Hello, Randy, RDNT. How you doing, bud? We're just getting ready here to start tearing this SD90 Mac apart and start installing the decoder and the LED lightings and stuff. So this will probably end up being a two-parter stream because it does take a little bit to get the lights done and everything. So we'll start by turning the logo upside down and removing the couplers. All right, where's my other screwdriver? That one. Oh, there we go. All right, obviously that screwdriver's too big. I had everything set up, and then everything just seems to disappear. All right. I had a whole set of screwdrivers, but they always seem to have a habit of growing legs and walking away from me. So that's one thing I didn't double check to make sure I had the right size little screwdriver. Anybody seen a screwdriver? All right, you can all stop looking now. It's always a good idea to have a little box handy so you can put all your parts in, so you don't lose anything. And we do this very carefully. It takes a little finessing too sometimes. There we go. And voila. So apparently this already has a decoder in it, non-sound, and it looks like an MRC jobby, real cheap thing. So we'll, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Okay. This phone call. I'll just put those clips. So there's the old board taken out. Now we're going to put the new board in. Just pull these wires out of the way. All right, so the one thing I'm going to do is straighten that wire out right there. We're going to bend that motor pickup lead right there out. And we're going to pop the decoder in. Let's get that out of my way. Get all the easy stuff done first. Then you work on the lights. That's how I do it anyways. All right, so we have the speaker. That's going to be going in, which will be sitting right back in here on top of this weight right here. So that's where the speaker is going to go. Oh, I see something in here I don't like. I don't like the looks of that. Why is there a wire wrapped around this wheel? I have to get my sharp little tweezers. I got something in the trucks. It's wire. Well, looks like I'll have to take the trucks apart now and find out what's going on in there. Let's try and do this without breaking it. See if we can't pry that off. Is that attached? Okay. Yeah, there's a wire sitting right in here. All caught around the wheel. Like, really? Huh. The one thing you have to be careful because you don't want to break this clip. So we're just going to get in and pry it up. Try to anyways. These worm gear housings sometimes are a pain to take off. Holy smokes. So I don't want to break it. And if you break it, then it's not going to hold the truck in properly. This ain't an easy one to come off. Normally they just snap right off. Oh, there we go. I want to find out what's going on down around there. Okay, well, the pickups look good. And gearing looks good too. Well, I got it apart. Just going to give it a little bit of an oil job. Because the gears, it doesn't look like there's too much oil in the gears right now, so we'll get this lubed up. So this is a medium oil that I'm using. Perfect for nylon gears. we go. The lube job's done. Let's find out what's going on with this wheel here. It's like a really thin wire wrapped around the axle. There we go. And we'll just put a little dab of oil on the end of the bushing. See, it's not just the gear. It's not just the gears you should add a little oil to. It's around when you put the bushing back on. Okay. There we go. I knew that was going to pop out. Hard to take off, pain in the ass to put back on. There we go. All right. Seeing as I'll get the oil out, I might as well do the back before we go any further. It's nice that these worm gear housings have a little access hole so you can drop some oil in and then just twist it around. Use the flywheel to turn the motor. Turns the gearing. Now we need the mounting screws back. Mount the board, and we can start attaching the wires. And I'm probably going to end up shortening them up a bit too. So this is a direct replacement board for Kato. And that tab is not quite long enough. Normally I would, if this tab was longer on the motor lead, I'd be able to solder that right to it, but this, I just don't have enough, so I'm going to have to clip a wire to that, solder a wire to it, and solder that. And how's that one going to reach? Nope. We're going to have to attach some little bit of wire. So we'll take the board back off because we don't want to accidentally drop solder on the board and mess up the board. Okay, put that in a safe spot. So I'm going to cut the motor lead down a bit. Just give it a little trim. Like so. And the same with this one, but I'm going to cut this one a little bit closer because I don't want anything interfering when I put the body back on. So there we go. We snip that off. And shrink tube, we need that. We're going to need a little bit of wire too. So this is silicone wire. It's got a silicone housing on it. We just basically tear it off. You don't need wire strippers or anything. Okay. So a little bit of flux on that motor lead, and Give it a little bit of solder. So I hope everybody's having a good day, and welcome everyone in the chat. Let's see who's in here. Let's see, Randy, Dwight's in here, Rick Bailey's in here, CSX. How you guys doing? Now I like to use a little shrink tube over this. Just you don't have to, but I like to use it just for added protection. And see how that's still springy, so we're basically going to have to bend that this way. And of course, my bending pliers are around here somewhere. Well, we'll do it this way. Take that and bend it towards the motor. Bend it again. And when I attach the wire, I'll pull the wire on the board and go. So probably going to give myself a little extra for right now. And we'll do the other side. I still got to put some shrink tube around that yet. As well. You don't have to, but just because I'm anal about having things short out. So I always go above and beyond. Or other people just don't give. Well, it's not my logo. So, but you know what? I don't care. I treat it as if it was mine because I want the customer to be happy, and I don't want that coming back saying, "Well, we've got a problem because it shorted out because of something." So the wire is directly centered. Yeah, I might have to cut this down a bit more, but get in there. Yep. Trim a little excess off, a little too long. I'm just going to make sure I got no more solder on my tip. And shrink the tube down. Yeah, get back up here. There we go. Just like that. So now we can put the motor, the board back on and hook up the motor leads. So if you're wondering where the front of the board is, your motor leads are right here in front of the 21 pin plug here. So there's a motor lead there and there's one there. Hello, Wicked Insanity. What's going on, Mike? Yeah, and when you put the new board on, don't refound the screws. Just snug them up. You don't want it overly tight because you want to crack the board. Okay, still a little too long. Wunderbar. Almost forgot to solder my wire. There's one wire attached. Now we'll turn around and do the other side. First we'll tin the board. If you tin your wire and tin your board, then you don't need to add any more solder, because all you got to do is just melt the two solder surfaces together, and it melts in there pretty quick. And you don't want to leave your soldering iron on the board for too long either, because you don't want to start damaging anything. Yeah, that should be good. All right. Cut just a bit more off. And the two motor leads are on now. You just got to watch these capacitors. They sometimes bend, so you just got to be careful. If you see them starting to bend, straighten them back up. So I'm just going to trim this much wire off just to shorten it up a bit more. And then I've got my old-fashioned wire strippers here. It's called a lighter. So the two outer pads on either side of the board are your truck pickups. Now I put a bend into the wire because I want the wire to kind of stand up because of the capacitors in the way. Normally it just lay flat even with the weight, but seeing as how we got the capacitors here, I'm going to have to stand the wire up this way. And keep checking because I have to keep trimming the wire down because I don't want it interfering with any other pad that's on the board. Just a bit more. There we go. That way, seems I have just a little bit extra wire there, just not a whole lot. We just tuck it back into where it goes. Right back in its channel and groove, and see how nice and neat that just sits up nicely, that wire. Because remember how long this is, all right? And you don't need all that wire. Like that wire, the end of the wire comes right to here. And you're only soldering here. So why have a whole bunch of wires sticking out like this? All right, it's all. That's why I say manufacturers, oh, we're going to give you lots of wire. You don't need all that wire. Just be careful when you push the wire back in. You don't want to break through the coating when you're using a screwdriver. You just want to tuck it in nicely. There we go. Now, it seems I didn't have to solder the wire to the truck pickups because they're already soldered. Well, that was surprising. So, Gemma, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in, my dear. Didn't put enough solder on my soldering iron. There we go. Okay. Get around. There. Okay. Nice and neat, no fuss, no muss. I think maybe some of the locomotive manufacturers should take lessons from me. This is how you should be doing it. Not putting them stupid plastic clips on to hold the wire on. Because they just fray after a while and causes shorts. And also shorts out the decoder too. Get around there. So next we're going to install the speaker, but we're going to do a test fit to make sure we've got enough clearance too. So the speaker is next, and here are the two little speaker pads, one here and one right here. So they're pretty close together. So this is where you have to really watch what you're doing. So let's get the speaker out. And it also comes, they give you a speaker wire too, wire to wire it up. So, which is quite nice. So we'll get that speaker wired up right now. But I won't attach the wire to the board yet until I see if there's going to be enough clearance. So before I solder that, I think I'll just put that back into its baffle. And take the hand railings off for one. There we go. I'm going to start disassembling this cab in a few minutes too, so I can get at everything. But I want to take the sill off. All right, the stairs, but everything is attached to the cab still here, right? So we want to disconnect all that stuff very carefully. And oh, please tell me you didn't glue that. Remember, people, try not to. Good, you didn't glue it. Oh. I don't like it when some people go, oh, we're just going to glue them on. No, you don't glue them on. Now, because how are you going to get them back off if you have to ever get into the locomotive, right? Come on, out. Thank you, out. There's always one pesky one. All right, there's the light tube. I still want to take this off because I still got to get into certain areas of this logo. There we go. So number one, this is the light tube for the ditch lights. We're going to cut the ends off that eventually and then reuse the lenses. And then while we're in here, we're going to remove the back headlight lens as well. There it is. And you can see how it's got its cover. So just put everything in the box. And then now it's time to figure out how to take the cab apart, because I need to take this headlight housing that you see in the bottom of that loco, shine some more light on it So we can see there's the light tube. So we need to get at that and remove it. And the thing is trying to figure out how it comes apart. It's just clipped in here down at the bottom. Just push the clips back. And it starts to disconnect the cab itself. There we go. Okay. Goes back in there. And you. Okay, something's stopping it from going down. So just move it along. It fits in. Uh-huh. Well, looks like we won't be using this speaker because we have a certain problem inside the body. Go figure. There's a little lip here. It's on the inside, which holds this piece on. The radiator flare. As you can see inside, see there's a little a little ledge in here. Oops. Other side. So if I put the speaker in, it should sit down on right up against the radiator fans on the inside. But you see how far that speaker only goes in? So it's not giving me enough clearance. So I'll have to get a couple of sugar cube speakers and put some sugar cube speakers in it. That way one will just sit here, and I'll put the other one up here. I'll just wire two up in a series, and they'll be sitting right there. So I won't be using that speaker. So we won't be wiring that speaker up today. All right. Now it's time to remove all this stuff and put this in a box. And I'm going to start work on the whatchamacallits, the ditch lights. Just keep this stuff out of my way. Now comes the fun part. Working on the ditch lights. So this is how the tube originally sits. I should say this way. Then it just goes back down inside. But I want to see how much I have to cut off, for one, in order to reuse the lenses. So we put the tube back into its original position. There we go. Okay. And we don't need them sticking out that far either, so just like that. Okay. Now here comes the fun part. And then we're going to glue the headlight lenses in place. So, Digger Evans, how you doing? So, because when I cut this, I don't want these the little chunk that I need go flying, and I've lost it. So I'm going to tape it down, and right where I'm going to cut to. So, and I'm just going to do one at a time. Now comes the fun part. Trying to put that little tiny piece back into its spot. Oh, look, it fell out. I got to trim a little bit more of it down. This is where it's very painstaking trying to And we're going to add just a little bit of glue on the inside of the, not a whole lot, just enough to get it tacked in there so I can move it around. You just got to remember which end you cut, because you don't want to have the cut end facing out. You want it facing inside the loco itself. And I'm going to feed it in through the front. Oh, this is being a pain. Come on out of there. There we go. Let's take the plow off for one. I'll get rid of the plow right now. There we go. It just pops right off. Seeing as how that glue is only a gel, it takes a little bit for it to set up, so I'm not too worried about it drying in there right now. So I don't want to push it back in too far. I do want it sitting out just a wee bit, but not a whole lot, because I got to recess the light inside. Check my clearance in the back. That's good. There we go. All right, so that one's in. Down to do the other side. And we'll get the other one done. Don't worry, if you cut it too long, you can always go back in and cut it down again, like I did before. So I am going to take a wee bit more off while I'm at it right now. So I already know how much more to take off. Oops. Don't you do that. You get back out there where you belong. Okay. there's the cut end on this side, and the front of the dish light's right here on this side. Ooh. All right. Needs to go back inside just a bit more. Like I said, you don't want to push it too far in. All right, so the ditch lights or housings are back inside. So we'll let that dry for a few minutes. And we will work on the back light. This is the rear light bar. So we're going to be working on this one. So like I said, we're going to cut the housings off, and then we're going to put them back in, and then we're going to put this whole piece, we're going to slide this whole piece right in, this whole thing. So this part will be pretty easy. Now that I said that, you watch, it's going to give me a hard time. All right, see, there's the two headlights housings that we're going to be reusing again. So here comes the fun part. Okay, give me trusty toothpick here. Just going to push them down a bit more. Just a wee bit, not a whole lot. And then I'll have a look at the other side and see how they look. One needs to go down just a bit more. So we'll let that one dry because we're going to attach some LEDs to it too. So whenever you're working with LEDs, make sure you have a 9-volt battery. And you want to test the lights because you don't want to put them in and all of a sudden you find out they're not working. That just all tend to just basically piss you off. So these are 402 LEDs that I'm using. And these are sunny white. So I just like to keep a handy resistor because now I don't have to add resistors to these lights when I put them on the board because they've already got resistors for LEDs already built into the board. So that's one less thing I don't have to worry about. I always like this. Like I said, you should always test your lights before you get them, before you put them in. And that one works. Perfect. So now we're going to get ready to put it in. Just as soon as that headlight lens dries a little bit more, and we're going to do something to help us out. So I'm going to get some tape out. Okay, let go of my scissors, thank you. And cut another couple of pieces of tape out and tape that down. See, and I can stand it up on the tape now, and it'll act like a holder for me. Well, you know, cheers, this is thirsty work. It's actually electrical tape. There's different colors of electrical tape that I have. I've got red, green, blue, yellow. Stuff like that. Now, you know, a beer cap is always handy to hold your glue in. And that's what I got right here. Is my trusty little beer cap. And I keep when I hang on to this, I just put a little dab of glue in there. That's it. Like I said, this is Gorilla Glue. It takes a while for it to set up. Doesn't bond instantly because it's a gel. And I'm going to need to put my surgical glasses on so I can see what the hell I'm doing. And then all we're going to do is just dip the light into the glue. So make sure This is why you need the magnifying glass. Make sure you put these in the right way. You don't want to stick them in upside down. So we're just going to bend that wire a bit like that. And all we're going to do is just dip it in. And my trusty toothpick. And we're just going to set it inside, because this will sit right inside the hole. And this is why we use tape. So now that it's in there, I'm going to use a piece of tape just to hold the wire down, so I can monkey with the light. So I'm not sitting there holding it with my hand. Oh, you mean a little bugger. Okay, so you stand back up. And that one's in place. This does take a bit of time to do, so it's not like you can go bang, bang, and it's in, and then start wiring everything up. It does take a bit of time to do all this kind of work. So it is tedious work. And this is where you're going to have a lot of patience. And if you don't have patience, then this ain't what you should be doing. Sometimes it wears my patience a little thin at times. But it is what it is. Then after it's well dried, then I'll test them again just to make sure everything's copacetic. And then I can start sticking these ones in the back of the locomotive shell and get them mounted back in. Tiny wires are always fun to play with, aren't they? That is working very nicely. Now how I'm going to wire these, put these in, I'm just going to offset this one a bit from the other one. Oh yeah, sure. Just move it. You had it just right. You dumbass. Just in case if it decides it's going to move on me, guess what I'm going to do? All right. I'm just going to check to see how bright that light is. I'm going to shut my lamp off. Bingo. That works good. There we have it. One rear headlight. And get my trusty vise, because it's going to be a pain in the butt trying to put that in. And if you're going to use a vise, don't tighten it up too tight, or you start crushing the shell. Okay. Oops. I'm going to start twisting these together now. So basically, I'm just going to twist the magnetic wire together and make one wire. Get it started so far, so then I can finish it off once I get it inside. That way, everything is all nice, neat, and tidy. You don't have wires all over the place inside. That's why I like this magnetic wire, because it's easy to work with. But it's a pain in the butt in order to get the coating melted off. So there, see, one nice little wire. So now what I'm going to do is get a piece of tape, and I'm going to secure it in there with some tape. So I don't want to glue it in there. For the reason is that if it ever comes back, or if a light ever burns out, then I've got access and I can always pop that light off and put another one on. That's why you don't use very much Gorilla Glue when you're gluing in your lights. Just a dab, and so if you ever have to, which I've never seen an LED burn out, but that's first time for everything in there. Oh, look at that! I'm out of blue tape. All I'm going to do is just cut a strip. And the tape will basically do the job by holding the headlight housing in. And also, you won't get no backshine from it either, because it's sitting over top of the LEDs now. All right, so that might go. Thank you. Okay, so you can see where the tape is. The headlight is in. So now I'm just going to finish the wiring off here, finish twisting this together, and then I'm going to solder these wires together. Okay. Where's the other one? Yep. Now, before I go any farther, you got to find the two gold wires and put those together, which are a smaller magnetic wire than the red one that you see in front. Bend those out of my way. Now I'm going to twist these together. Now, I wonder how bright they're going to be once I get them on the board. That is the question. Alright, so now I got to even the wires up. And then I've got to melt the coating off in order to get the solder to take on the magnetic wire. So this is where you get some nice flux. This will help heat up and melt the coating off. So I'm going to load up my soldering iron full of solder. Now I can finish twisting these together. And then I'll solder them again. So I'm taking the two and making one wire. Okay. And we do the same to the red one. And I don't have to even these up because they're already even, so we just keep right on going. Now, when I get these lights from Scott Downey. He makes them up for me. And he already does a pre-solder on the ends already. But, I always like to add a little bit more when I do this. And then we'll test the light again, just to make sure everything's working right. So I test the lights, quite a few times before I do the final soldering on the board. So I want to make sure everything's working just right before I start attaching the lights to the board. Okay, where'd my resistor go? I don't want to. You have to use a resistor when you use the battery, because if you don't, you're going to blow the light up. Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. All right. And after all that work I just did, if I would have forgotten to put in the resistor, I went like, as soon as I touched the battery, you would have heard him pop. So that would really make me very, very angry, very upset. Colorful words would be coming out of my mouth. Okay. And we'll just show the folks at home. There's the light. So the backlight is in. I'm still waiting for that. So I should be able to do the ditch lights now. But first things first, I want to wrap this wire around the red wire a bit more, shorten it up. So there, that should be good. So I'm probably going to have to add a little more wire to it anyways to get to the board, I bet. But we'll see. We'll find out when it's time to put them in. Okay. Let's not monkey with that. Two more lights. So I use two different sizes actually. So, but I'm all out of. Normally I use 603s for the headlights because they fit in that hole quite nicely too. But I'm out. All I got is 402s left. The real small ones. Of course, I've got one smaller than these ones too. It's like, holy, how small can you go with a light when they get pretty bright? Oh, we're back online. Got power back. Well, good to hear, Donna. How you doing? I know you guys are going through another storm down there. It's like, holy. Alright, so anybody have any questions about how I cut the lighting tube and reuse the headlight lenses and attach the LEDs? No? Anybody? Yeah, that one works. So that's a working one. And I really don't know how Scotty does it, Mr. Scott Downey, how he solders these wires onto these small little LEDs. Okay. I still have to check out. I don't think I can light number boards up, but we'll see. I'm hoping I can, because then that'll be an added bonus for the owner of the locomotive. He'll have separately lit number boards. But we'll have to. That's the thing I'll have to investigate. All right, so now I need my trusty vise back again, because I can't do this without that. So that's the one little tool that's always handy to have, especially for model railroading. That's one of these little vices. Now Roy Container Man, he's got one of these because he won one off one of my giveaways. Now we just need to hold it just right. I know it's such a long frame on this thing. There we go. Oh yeah, sure. And it's out of camera shot. Hang on, people. There we go. Time to put my magnifiers back on. Because this is going to be not fun. This is not going to be fun at all. This part will take the longest. All right. I wonder if I can put it in the other way. No, yep, I'm going to have to do it the other way because this is going to be too much of a pain to try to do it that way. So right in there. And then is what I'll do is once it sets in there, I'll cut a piece of tape and put a little piece of tape over there just so, like I say, we don't get no back shine from the LED. A little dab will do you. Let that glue set up for a few minutes before I temp the LED. And always have a toothpick, wooden toothpick handy for when you do this. Wherever my toothpick went. Found it. And this is why I like using the vise. Because it frees up both your hands. And it's like doing surgery. So we're just going to dip that in the glue. It's not easy working in small, confined little areas. Yeah, I was afraid of that. Well, that light's no good. It just disconnected itself. It doesn't look like it was soldered on there very good. All right, move on to the next light. Sometimes it does happen. It's all because I pushed a little too hard on the light. You get back in there. Beautiful. Here comes the other fun part. Putting the tape on. Make it a little smaller. Okay. Now we're going to test to make sure it works. So I'm going to put my phone over that underneath and use it as a mirror. Or actually, I'll just put the camera on. Let's see if I see it light up. Damn, this is worse than a hair. Okay. Yeah, it's supposed to grab the battery, not the glue, dummy. Oh boy, oh boy. And we have a light. Good. I think. Okay. Yep, it works. All right, so how the tube used to go, now the tube used to fit up in these slots, so this is where the wire is going to go now. So we're going to do that next, because I have to get this wire out of my way. So we're just going to fold it back where we taped it. And then fold it through there. All right, next LED. Yep, cool trick with the phone. If you can't see, all right, but also I can see the back shine too from the tape a little bit, but that tape will really help on the back shine. So I didn't do that on my SD40 when I did the Southern Pacific, when I did the ditch lights, because basically some of that back shine gave me kind of stair lights. So I thought, well, I'll just leave that, because I was going to put tape over it. After I saw that, I thought maybe, you know, I should have put tape. Now I got thinking about it. No, I'll just leave it, I think. Just make it look like it's got stair lights too. So fiddling around with tiny little wires like that's a real pain, especially when you got big fat sausage fingers, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that one works. More fun stuff. More fun. Yep, Rick Bailey likes the cool trick with the phone. Mm-hmm. Now, you just be very careful and you just get in there nicely. You little fucker. All right. Mm-hmm. Come on, stop doing that. Oh, really? You didn't do what I just thought you did. Oh, no, okay. I thought it moved on me. There we go. Yep. That looks really good on the phone. Now we'll just let that dry. We won't fool with it until that glue sets up in there nicely. And then can't wire these together because they're going to be separate, wired in separately. And I'll just give them each one a test again. And that's done. The only thing left to do now is trying to figure out how to get the rest of this out of the cab. Not much to figure out. It's already done. There we go. See, we're going to do the same to this one. Now, the number boards. All right, let's have a look. So the number boards do not light up. They're solid. So you won't be having lit number boards. Because there's no way there's a light going to shine in through that. This is a solid plastic number board. So we're going to do the next best thing. We're going to give them interior cab light instead of lit number boards. So now I have to take the cab right apart. Or I wonder. Now I have some really tiny LEDs. These are really smaller than the ones I just installed. Like these are really small. So I'm just wondering if I can just maybe just stick that there. Or maybe on top. Let's see if I drilled a hole, but that's taking a chance of cracking that glass too. So I really don't want to do that. I just wonder if I can just maybe get this LED attached to the top and just have it sit inside. What to do, what to do, what to do. Anyways, the headlight. You know what I used to do? I used to just drill a hole in the light tube. I used to just cut it so far down so you don't have all this here. And then I just drilled into it. But I like the way I do it now. It seems how you just cut the headlight lenses off and put them back in and attach all the LEDs. So, all right, let's get back to this. I'm going to get these wires in the right way. when it sits on the frame, it'll hold these wires too. That's why I like magnetic wire. You can bend it and it stays that way. So there we go. So let's show the people at home what we done. So for right now, I'm just going to wire the two together, just temporarily, and give them a nice little test. So I've been working on this local for 2 hours and 20 minutes. So it takes a while to do things. And I take my time. I don't rush. So you got to make sure you do things, get it done the right way the first time around. We're on the decoder. This thing is, it's got one of them plugs. Hey, people, hey, look at that. We'll just plug it in. There's something wrong with this decoder because I had this locomotive on the track and wouldn't respond. So that's a cheap decoder anyway. So we can just take that and throw that right in the recycling bin for electronics. Okay, you gonna cooperate or what? It's like trying to twist two fine hairs together. All right. Yep. See, and we have lights. There we go. Well, let's leave those together for right now until I get them back on the chassis. All right, so that's done. Only 2 more lights to go. so far. And then we can start putting that, start putting it back together until I get the speakers. So now the one thing about these TCS WOW sounds is that when you get your decoder, I'm going to show everybody at home, but there's something unique about this decoder. And if you look in the back of this decoder, get some light on the subject. There we go. You see a little USB card in there. Turn it the other way. Okay. There's an SD card in here, right in there. That's where all the sound files are sitting inside that little SD card. I don't recommend trying to pull that SD card out. Leave well enough alone. You don't want to start monkeying with it. Just put that back in the package. Back in the box. We're going to start working on the other headlight. Now, this is going to be a real pain in the butt to do, to try and get that back in. This is why we have this vise. So we'll get that prepared next. I'll set that out of my way for right now until I'm ready for it. More fun stuff. Need a sharper blade. There we go. Now we'll turn this around the right way. So when I pick them up and get them inside that housing. Oh, you little. Just a little bit more in. Okay, I'm just going to let that set up for a bit. Let that one set up for a little bit. Hello, Kyle. Anthony, how you doing, bud? So we'll get back to this for right now. Uh-huh. Well. I was afraid of that. Everybody's going, what? What? Afraid of what? It's not going to reach the board. So I'm going to have to add some wire. Because F2 and F1, let's see, functions of F3 and 4, and 5 and 6. So we want to put the ditch lights on functions 5 and 6. So now the boards are, they do have numbers on them. And you just have to look for where the 5 and 6, because 5 and 6 is what I want to use for the ditch lights. So functions 5 and 6. And by the looks of things, let's see, better put my magnifiers on so I can see where the numbers are on this thing. All right, function 5 and 6 is right here. This is function 5 and 6. Functions 3 and 4 are there. Functions 1 and 2 are there, and then of course the other pad is the is for the lights. So we got these two. We got two small pads here, and two little tiny pads right there. Boy, that's those pads are getting smaller, aren't they? Boy, that's going to be a challenge. So see, the wiring is very vague on this diagram. This is why I like using my computer, because I just go over to TCS WOW Sound, TCS website, decoder kits, and I can look up certain stuff that they don't really include in your wiring instructions. I don't know why they do that. It's just pretty much very vague. I just want to check something out. All right. So we're going to look up Kato. And SD90 Mac. I'll do a screen share on this right now, and I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at. So we're going to share that screen. This is how they do it, but I do it my way. So, see, because there they want to reuse these LED lights, and probably want to reuse the light tube. And of course, yeah, see, they're going to cut the light tube and reuse this section right here. I don't like doing that. So I just want to see where they're putting the ditch lights. Okay. And of course it doesn't want to show me. Oh well. So much for that. Yeah, well, working on stuff like this is always painstaking. And look what fell out. Figures. One of my headlight lenses came out. The other one didn't fall out, but this one did. Leave that one alone. All right, I'm just going to take a quick break for a minute. And I'm just going to run upstairs and I'll be right back down. So just give me about 4 minutes and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So while we're taking a little bit of a break, I moved some cameras around in the other room. Let's see if we can get to one of the cameras here. I'll just, instead of looking at that, you can look at me for a change. How's that? There. You can look at my profile. Because we both like half my face. Right? All right. Camera flip time. Let's see what cameras are we got going. Which one is this? No, that's not the camera I wanted. Oh, it's this one down here. All right. All right, so what do you think of that shot? That's coming back into where I'm sitting. I'm actually right behind that wall. So I put a camera there. And then I moved, you know how the other camera was in that room? Well, I moved it too into a different area. So that camera has gotten moved over to this area here. So you get to see a little bit more of the layout. How you doing, Paul? How are you? How you doing, Paul? How are you? So what's everybody think of that? Unfinished town. Yeah, we know, Roy. Jesus. What echo? There's no echo. So now when we do running sessions, or I should say when I do running sessions, now I've got two different cameras to pick from for that room that we're looking at right now. So that's what I was doing before I started doing this live stream that I'm doing now. So I was in there trying to kill some time. So I thought, what about moving the camera around a bit? Thank you, Dart. Glad you like it. And then, let's see, we'll go back to the other camera that's in that room in this area. I'm going to start work in that area down there. So right where you see where it goes into the tunnel, that's going to come forward a bit, and there's going to be more rock coming out towards the hot water heater. And of course, I'm going to finish off where that back side there that we see, that's way open. That's all going to be closed off. And then there's going to be a backdrop put in there right in this little area here as well. So there'll be a backdrop there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to hide the hot water heater, but and there'll be a backdrop going along that wall too. So now I'll have to get myself some more nylon screen and some Sculpt-A-Mold and plaster cloth. And I'll start work on that probably beginning of December. I'll start working on that because I'm going to start buying materials. I want to get all the materials before I start work on that. And then when I do start work on that, we can activate this camera. And you can see exactly what I'm going to be doing. That switch is going to be taken. I'm going to be taking that switch out because I really don't need it there. So I'll pull those two switches out of there. and I can use those somewhere else on the layout. Yeah, I know, Paul. I know what you mean. Life has sure changed for everybody. Try not to think about it. I'm just going to have a smoke break. Then we'll get back at this, and I got to finish off the front headlight. We'll get that done, finished off, and get the speaker wire, get that installed. I might as well hook up that other speaker anyways, just because I got to program this decoder to find the right prime mover for it. So I got to go through the list of prime movers that are in that decoder. So TCS WOW sounds a little bit different. They have different prime movers all in that one decoder. So you just select, if you got a GE, select GE, and then it runs you through the different GE locomotives. Same with, or if you got an Alco, it runs through the different types of Alco prime movers and the EMDs as well. So it's not like ESU Lock Sound where I can load up a sound file or change the sound file if I want. Smoke may join me on that, Kyle. Oh, there you go. Yeah, my frustration level on this install was getting to me, so I thought, yeah, I need a cigarette. And of course, I went upstairs to get myself a beer too. So, first beer of the day. Wow. I lie. I'm lying. That's my second. Seeing as how I don't have to go to work until Monday night now, so it is Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. So everybody in Canada, happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian friends. Bullshit, Anthony. What's going on, brother? So yeah, having these, like I said, so having the cameras in this room is going to be a little bit better because now we get to see a little bit more of the layout. So I think probably one more camera in there. Oh, or maybe two more, probably two more. Because I got to have one facing the upper deck that's by the back window. And so you can see, the wife's knickers hanging up there downstairs by the laundry. And hello, Dave Allen. How you doing? The local that I'm working on, that's a customer. I'm doing that for a hobby shop here in London. This is the second one that I've worked on for this fellow. I'm doing an SD90 Mac. I've got two of these to do actually. So, but he's giving it to me one at a time. He comes in, the guy picks it up, pays him, then I get paid, and then it gives me another one to do, and then we get that one done, and the same thing goes again. So I'll probably do one, probably won't. Let's see, it's been 2 weeks since I did the last one, so every 2 weeks I'll get another locomotive to do. And apparently this fellow's got quite a few. So all right, now let's get back to work. Move things out of the way. And of course, move the camera, flip my camera back, and we'll get started on the headlights again for the front of the locomotive. And we'll just have to aim that camera down. Bye. And we'll go ahead and install some more LEDs. So we're going to have a lot of lights in this. So the total is going to be quite a few. A total of 6, and if I go ahead with the cab lighting, that means there'll be a total of 7 LEDs in this thing. And get my trusty battery and make sure everything's working before I go ahead and glue them in. Hmm. Yep, that one's working. Okay. So I'm glad you got your power back, Anthony. Hopefully it didn't make too much of a mess the other storm that you got. So. All right. Turn that the right way. Yeah, come on. Hello? Who's texting me now? Oh, nobody. Yeah. Oh, weather report. Yeah, I know what the weather is. Screw off. I'm busy. I'll stay there. Is that the right way? Come on. That piece of tape. Come here, you. Yeah, we'll just let that set up for a few minutes, and then we'll test it again. All right, I'm just going to leave that alone for a couple of minutes. And then I'll pick it up and have a look. Very tedious work. This is what takes the longest. Doing decoder installs, if I didn't have to do all this, it'd be in by now. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, I just want to make sure it works again. Come here. Thought I saw a light. Oh, there we go. That works. That one is, anyways. Better test the other one just to make sure. And then I can get this thing in. And that one's working. All right. Now I can finish twisting these wires together to make one wire. And then get these all soldered up. And you're not supposed to stick to my finger. Okay, now I want to unwrap this one. And unwrap this one. Almost done wrapping. All right. Get the cab back up here and we'll get this installed. Maybe. Boy, this is a real pain. This is. Come on, you little fucker. Let's try the other way then. Come on. Get your ass in there. Oh boy. Does that come apart, I wonder? Oh, yeah, it does too. Yay. Oh, I just made my job easier. Look at that. That just clipped in there. All right. We'll just put a little piece of tape over that. Wunderbar. And another piece of tape. And of course, we're going to have to add some wire. Just a little bit. All right. Let's have a look-see at the lights. And they're working. Yep. Cool. All right. Now, do I put a cab light in or not? I'm just going to leave it in the vise because I'm going to actually tilt this. Now this is this really small LED. And I do see a spot for it. So I better test this to make sure it works, because I found a nice little spot for it, so I don't have to do any drilling. Yay, something I don't have to do. Unbelievable. I just have to glue it in. This one's not working. Or is it wired the other way, I wonder? Oh, there we go. Hooray, it works. Okay. I'm just having a look at something. Thinking, gee, Mike, is that going to work? Yep, this is going to work. I'm going to see how one lights up the cab. If one's good enough, then I'll just put one in. But if it doesn't light up all that well, then I'll have to put two in. But we're going to see. So I'm just going to let that sit there and dry. So basically, it'll probably just, it'll light the glass up, which will light the interior up. So. Hello, Joseph Grohl. Woohoo! What's going on, buddy? So there will be a part 2 to this stream, probably tomorrow sometime. And we'll start finishing this up. I'm going to let that LED in there dry for a while before I move it around and test it. Just to make sure it's going to work out the way I'm hoping. And then when we come back tomorrow, we'll start putting this thing back together. So I think we're going to end the stream because dinner's almost ready. So I'll probably do a stream or a panel after dinner, maybe. Depends on how I feel. Well, it depends on how much ham I eat. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you all being here. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow on the on finishing up the SD90 Mac. Until next time, everyone. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.